Chapter 3. Mr. Gallagher stepped forward. Yes, it is. This is Lucky Strike Park, home of the Wildcats. He stretched out his hand. Welcome. Thank you. The boy shook his hand, replacing his hat. Then he unsnapped his shirt pocket and pulled out a piece of paper and a wad of money. I'm Cruz de la Cruz, he said, from Paloma. Here's my insurance waiver and $200. I bat right, throw right. I'm mainly a shortstop, but I can pitch or play anywhere. Hope I can still sign up. Maria leaned forward. You rode that horse all the way here from Paloma? Over the mountains? The boy gave his sturdy horse a few sharp pats. Its silvery gray mane stood out against a white coat dotted with several brown spots, almost the size of baseballs. He nodded, laughing. Yeah, then he shrugged. It beats walking. That's like 50 miles of rough country, said Frankie. How long did that take you? Not that long. I left yesterday morning, stopped at my uncle's house in Campo in the noon, and rode till mi abuela's house in Pine Valley. That's where I came from this morning. Wow, even Pine Valley is a really long ride. Certainly is, said Miss Gallagher. Cruz, you must be hungry. Nah, it's okay, he waved a hand. But my horse Screwball here said he could sure use some water. Of course, said Mrs. Gallagher. We live right next door, and I'll fix you a sandwich. How's peanut butter and jelly? Well, yeah, all right. Sounds good, thank you. He bent down and dusted tiny leaves of sagebrush off his pant legs. I'm just glad to finally be here. Will glanced around at the others, smiling. You're glad to be here? What for? Cruz flashed a smile. Seriously? He turned and held his hand out toward the baseball field. Look at this place. The old stone wall, the gate, the famous shrine of Dillontown 9. Getting to play here is like dying and going to Fenway. Going to where? Cody said. It's in Boston, hermano, hissed Frankie. It's a ballpark. Everyone looked out past Cruz's arm at the tired dirt floor. Now it was all full of weed clumps and gopher humps since the end of the Little League last month. They studied and faded out Red Man Tobacco scoreboard and the slant angle iron gates, frozen open and rusting in deep center, the dry erosion rivets that were running through the outfield, and the ancient stone wall full of holes crammed with soda cans and trash, and that circular stone monument topped with a white cross out beyond the walls, built nearly 90 years ago as a memorial to a team of gold miners who died when their mine shaft collapsed. Seeing the field with an outsider's eyes, Tom kind of felt embarrassed. Yes, well, said Mr. Gallagher, it does have a certain... He stumbled for the word. Spirit, said Rachel. I think there's a sort of spiritness out here. Rachel may have been quiet, but when she did speak, she usually said something really important and profound. Cruz's head bobbled up and down. Yeah, that's right, he smiled at Rachel. Okay, said Ramon, but do you know what you're walking into? Cruz raised his eyebrows. Well, the website said it was a week-long camp for anybody who loves to eat, drink, sleep, and play baseball. That's me. The website was Tom's doing, and he tended to hype it up a bit. Well, that was before last night, said Will. Now it's eat, sleep, and delete baseball. Not necessarily, said Mr. Gallagher. We have had a little disagreement in our town over what direction it should go in, and the ball team that we have here, I'd say, is heading in that direction. A big say, Frankie said with a grin. He was the only one smiling. Tom's dad folded his arms against the clipboard and went on to explain the whole situation. At the end of the story, Cruz took off his hat, rubbed his hand over his long black hair, and said, Whew, we're playing for the future of this ballpark? Hey! Then we're on a mission for God. At that moment, Tom's whole world shifted just a notch, but suddenly he realized he was looking at more than just some kooky outsider who smelled like a horse and sage. He saw more than the 10th ball player. Tom saw a boy who could stand up to a challenge, look it in the eye, and not blink. He saw a boy who was not afraid to show how much he loved baseball, how much he loved this old ballpark and was willing to fight for it. Okay then, Tom's dad clapped his hands. It was almost as if Cruz had inspired him to. We've got ourselves a team. Let's go set up camp. Cruz, said Miss Gallagher, you can put your horse up in our barn across the road. We're going that way too. As the players grabbed their bags and bounced off the bleachers, Mr. Gallagher took Tom's arm. You know, Tom, we all have dreams, and I don't want to limit your imagination, but you have to pay attention when you're out here. You're a part of this team. And I know I've told you this before, but unless we can all join you in your dream, then I'm sorry, but you're going to have to join us in ours. And right now, our dream is to build a team here that can win a pretty important game. Mine too, Dad, really. That's my dream too. I'm serious. Then you gotta try to stay with us out here, all right? He smiled. Tom felt such relief now that the new kid had shown up that he nodded eagerly. Don't worry, I promise I will. For the next 2 hours, the Gallagher backyard was like an anthill near a sugar spill. Players scurried in all directions, and Mr. Gallagher believed that a baseball camp should be a camp, in all ways. So the boys pitched their tent over near the barn, and the girls put theirs up near the rear dock. Tom's mom supervised the installation of cots, lanterns, and picnic tables. She helped the campers pick their tent leader and draw up a list of chores and rules that each camper had to sign. For dressing and bathing, the boys had to go to the bunkhouse and the girls had the downstairs guest room. Mr. Gallagher directed a group of players to chop up eucalyptus branches and dig a campfire in the middle of the backyard. Afterwards, they lined the pit with stones and set up benches all around. Finally, everything was a go. Cruz stood at the woodpile, sweat pouring down his face. Man, this is great. This is way better than I thought it would be. He yanked off his batting gloves and leaned against an axe on an old tree stump. Dillontown, I'm ready to play some ball. Yeah, right, said Clifford as he knelt down and collapsed onto the grass. You go to the field and start warming up. We'll be right there. The other players sprawled out too on the lawn or up against the pepper tree, drenching their heads from the streams with their water bottles. The kitchen door burst open and out came Tom's dad pulling a little red wagon, stacked high with hamburger patties, buns, and all the fixings. Mrs. Gallagher was already on the deck, firing up the brick barbecue. 10 minutes till lunchtime, she said. Food, called Will. Cruz, you better stick around. Oh, okay, I'm not going anywhere, except maybe back to the barn just to check on my horse. I'll go with you. Cody bounced up and started running. Tom decided to join them, and one by one so did the others. Entering the barn, Ramon put his hand on Cruz's shoulder. So how'd you find out about this camp anyway? Pretty easy. I searched the web, and I saw it on the website. You were searching for baseball camps? No, I was actually searching for Dillontown. At the sound of Cruz's voice, Screwball, his horse, thrust his nose between the bars of the last stall door. Hey, boy, said Cruz. There you are. How you doing? You getting enough to eat? Why do you call him Screwball? Asked Tara. Because he's goofy. Cruz opened the stall and stepped outside. Like me. What do you mean, goofy? Tara persisted. Cruz held Screwball's head, rubbing his whiskery nose. Well, he does the weirdest things sometimes. One night I come home and he's in my room watching TV, which I don't mind, but at least he could do is ask before he tries to change the channel. I mean, did you ever see what remote control looks like after a horse uses it? Oh, that never happened, said Tara. She turned to her sister. Don't believe him. Rachel smiled. Cruz looked over his shoulder. Tom, I want to take him outside to the corral with your horse. Be okay? Yeah, I guess. We'll see how they get along. Cruz grabbed a rope halter and slipped it over the horse's head. He turned to his saddle draped over an oil barrel on the corner, opened one of the saddlebags and reached in. Here, he said to Tara. Here's my card. Everyone huddled close to see it. www.cruzon.com. Have fun, will travel. Contact CC Ryder at cruzon.com. What does that mean, have fun, will travel? That's the name of our family business. Back home, I lead trail rides into the mountains and down into the desert. My mom and I took it over after my dad died. And cruzon.com, that's our website and my motto. I like to see new places, so I'm always cruising on. He grinned at her. You mean you go on pack trips, asked Tom, and get paid for it? It's crazy, I tell you. People come from all over to ride into the hills, and they need a guide, so I lead them. And we just cruise on. Pass the rope to Tara. Here, help me take him outside, okay? Cody ran ahead to drag open the gate. As Cruz left the barn, Maria circled around him, facing him toe-to-toe and walking backwards. Okay, now tell me for real. Who are you, and why did you come here? What do you mean? I just told you. Another grin and a glance at everybody. Really? I'm not anybody special. I'm just a guy who wants to make it to the major leagues one day. So you came here? Will said. Not a bright choice, Sunshine. You kiddin'? To me, it's the perfect choice. See, there's somebody in this town who has a huge secret, the most important secret in baseball, and I want to sit down with that guy and ask him about it. What guy? Who? Cruz shrugged and answered as easy as giving it the time of day. Dante Delgado.